any particular tech as far and any particular application of AI that you feel is going to change the game for everybody who's sitting in that marketing room, trying to make sense out of large stacks of data, trying to make sense of unsure consumer behavior. How do we use this kind of data stacks and prevalent that are prevalent now in the marketplace? How do we analyze them? How do we make sure it's not a pack of cards? How do we make sure it's a robust structure, is going to survive this, not only this technological change, but maybe the next one as well?
To-
And anyone.
Okay. So I think there is a AI is the buzzword across every boardroom these days. But let me deconstruct it, for the audience. And if you look at AI, the best analogy that you can reference to is that of a human brain, right?
Right.
There's analytical AI and there is generative AI. Analytical AI is like equivalent of your left brain, and it has always been there for more than a decade, wherein it is very good at doing a couple of things like synthesizing data, summarization, prediction, and these capabilities have gone significantly better, right, in the
Right.
last couple of years. But all this buzz which is there right now, particularly since the launch of ChatGPT, is on this new aspect called generative AI. And generative AI is able to do conversations and is able to solve for creative for the first time. It generates, right? Its ability to generate is actually can disrupt these two aspects pretty dramatically. And the combination of these two is what makes the whole area of AI very, very transformative, right? For all industries, no matter, and all roles. And definitely it has an opportunity to kind of disrupt marketing the way we know it.
Wow, it's going to be a new age. So when you're saying it's going to revolutionize, it's going to touch customer segmentation, it's going to have personalization, like hyper
Yeah.
personalization, and it's going to have most campaigns are going to be automated.
Hmm.
They're going to run on the fly. How is that going to change the life of a marketeer? Maybe not a CMO, maybe one down. How is that going to impact his life?
I think it's very important to understand that the fundamentals of marketing will continue. What technology has only provided is outreach at scale at a much faster pace, which was always a challenge.
Right.
Now, if you talk about, you spoke on a very interesting point, which is on personalization. Now, hyperlocal targeting at the advent of digital marketing, right? The magic wand of digital marketing was that I can reach out to Rahul and talk to him personally. I can reach out to Bhaskar and I can talk to him personally. I can have one on one messaging which will resonate with them over a period of time. And we've seen this evolve. So, it's amazing to see the journey where we saw digital marketing come up. We saw NFT and tokenization, start, go beyond conceptualization. Then we saw metaverse and virtual reality taking shape. And while all this was happening, digital marketing was doing something very subtly underneath, which was generating data and behavioral analysis. We've reached a point that we have the amount of data that has gotten generated. We have enough and more technology that it can consume data which can probably get generated by 2025. Technology is outpacing our data generation capabilities. So
Wow.
by 2025, the predictive analysis we are talking about, the data processing that we are talking about, it will all would have consumed and provided everything under the sun possible to analyze, synthesize, and have predictive modeling in place. And that's where technology is really leading to. A lot of mundane tasks will be taken over by the technology, right? A lot of behavioral analysis of my potential customer will be there in the system already. One of the use cases I discuss with you quite often, one of the largest education online player who spent tons and tons in marketing reached a point where his problem statement was that everybody knows about my product. So I'm
Correct.
not doing marketing anymore. I'm doing remarketing now. So my marketing strategy will evolve at a point, let's say by 2025, that I have enough and more data, I have enough and more analysis. My systems have outpaced my data generation capabilities, right? And at the same time, we are also looking at cookieless world. We're talking about first party data. We are looking at more stringent regulations, compliance, consent, which will also play a very critical role, right? So we don't have unlimited data that will just keep getting generated on the fly forever.
Correct.
It will reach a point where it will peak, and at some point my technology will outpace my data generation, or
Which you say is happening right now.
which is happening right now, right? So in another year and a half is what I see. By 2025 and or 2026, my technology for data analysis would have probably peaked. And at that point of time, it is looking at the various aspects of data of personalization. And right now we're talking about hyper personalization. It'll probably reach, I don't know, hyper personalization.
It sounds like having 5 kids in the room.
Yes, many more, many more.
Wow. Bhaskar, you want to add something?
So Rahul, I think your question was, how will this change not just the CMO's life, but his team's life, right? So that takes me back to my days as a brand manager, probably 15 years ago. And the job of a brand manager, right, as a brand custodian, is the ability to define the problem statement for his or her brand sharply, so that the whole ecosystem can actually work to deliver on the plan. And what differentiates a very good brand manager to an average one or not so good one is the ability to kind of understand the offtakes through Nielsen, household penetrations through Kantar, and your qualitative consumer work, quantitative consumer work, your media deliveries, your sales data, and ability to put all these things together and then look at the patterns and recognize what's working, what's not working, and where do you play, how do you win, and then put a plan accordingly. So the ability to define that actually varies from one person to another person, right?
True.
Right, because of the experience and all of it. This is particularly in the CPG space, and pretty much this is how it is orchestrated everywhere. And if you are able to define that sharply and draw the correlations, right, half the problem is solved.
Done. Absolutely.
But this capability is not great across the entire org. It is, some good guys are able to do this better, and so on and so forth. But all this is now data, right? High quality data. It can
Right.
all be brand LLM equivalent, can synthesize all this information and then give you the right problem statements, right, through intelligent prompts. And you can have a horizontal capability to define this problem statement sharply. What is the job to be done, right, by brand, by geography, by the sales team, and you can optimize how you execute on a real time basis. So your job will be to kind of feed the brand LLM, right, over time. So you can have a far more productive and a far more creative and a far more efficient team. And so that your consumer orientation goes sky high, and you spend less and less time in repetitive jobs.